So we've made it, finally here, UFC 300 fight week. This card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. As usual, I'm gonna give you guys my quick picks and some quick breakdowns for each matchup on this card. So before we get into UFC 300, I wanna do a quick recap of last week's event. Brendan Allen taking on Chris Curtis 2, went up a quarter unit in profit. Not a lot, but still a winning night, and that makes 25 of the last 29 UFC events profitable. I have only lost 4 times since July of 2023, and I've bet on every single UFC card. So consistently winning money. I do have a lot of bets posted for UFC 300, a bunch of underdogs. If you guys want to access those bets, I am doing a promotion, 50% off subscription. If you're interested, you could shoot me a DM or click the link in the bio. All right, time to get into these matchups. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is how good this card is. First fight, the opener of the card, the former flyweight champ, Davison Figueiredo taking on the former bantamweight champ, Cody Garbrandt. No real surprise here. I'm picking Figgy to win. Basically a fade on the chin of Cody Garbrandt. I think his chin is absolutely cooked. His previous couple opponents couldn't really take advantage of his durability, but I think Figgy will. Figueiredo, he moved up in weight. His last time out, he moved up from 125 to 135, fought Rob Font. He didn't finish him, but he hurt him bad on multiple occasions. If he hits Garbrandt with those same shots, he's going to put him out, or he's going to force Garbrandt to shoot, and he's going to lock up that patent guillotine choke, and he's going to finish him. The pick is Figgy. Next, we have Bobby King Green taking on Jim Miller. Shout out to Jim Miller, UFC 100, then fighting on UFC 200, and now UFC 300. I'll be rooting for him, but unfortunately, I'm going to pick against him. Bobby Green, I just think he's more athletic. He definitely has a speed advantage. You know, Jim Miller is going to be live in round 1, especially to knock out Bobby Green, since he was brutally knocked out by Jalen Turner, who's also on this card in their last fight. But, you know, Jim Miller, he slows down. He actually hasn't won a decision since 2016, and he's fought very frequently. So I think that if this fight gets extended, gets outside of round 1, Bobby Green's going to take over, and he's going to win a decision. Next fight, really good women's strawweight fight. Jessica Andrade taking on Marina Rodriguez. You know, the last time, and really the only time Marina Rodriguez fought a power puncher was against Amanda Lemos, and Amanda just completely, essentially destroyed her, and she was an underdog. You know, Rodriguez came out gun shy. Amanda's physicality was too much for her. She won in the grappling and eventually knocked out Lemos. And I kind of see the same thing happening here. You know, Andrade has more ways to win. Definitely the better grappler, better wrestler, better jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I just think that Andrade either is going to catch Rodriguez in the chin or at some point bring it to the mat and finish her there. Absolute banger of a fight. Jalen Turner taking on Renato Moicano. Jalen Turner, absolutely massive for the 155 division. Renato Moicano is a former featherweight. He's been up at lightweight for a little bit now, but he's definitely going to be outsized. And he's been knocked out like 4 times in his career, and Jalen Turner has a 100% finish rate, hits very hard. I just think at some point he's going to knock out Renato Moicano. Next, we have Sodiq Yusuff taking on Diego Lopez. A lot of hype right now on Diego Lopez, and rightfully so. He looked great his last 2 times out, finished both his opponents, but I think there's a lot of recency bias built into this betting line. You know, the 2 guys he finished were really favorable matchups for Lopez, and stylistically, I think this is a good matchup for Sodiq. The thing is that both of these guys don't attempt takedowns. Yes, Lopez clearly has the jiu-jitsu advantage. This guy's BJJ is lights out, but he doesn't wrestle. So if this fight takes place on the feet, which it absolutely can, I favor Sodiq Yusuff. He's the better striker, more defensive, more technical, and I think he can definitely win a decision here. Next up, we have the UFC debut, long-awaited debut of Kayla Harrison. She's taking on a UFC veteran in Holly Holm. Holly Holm, 42 years old at this point. She did look great on the scale. She usually does. She looked ripped. And the big question was, is Kayla Harrison going to make weight? She did make weight. She was 136. She looked good, but she definitely looked like she had to cut a lot of weight, which is to be expected. She was fighting at 155 pounds. You know, Kayla's a massive favorite here because she has the massive physicality and strength and the massive grappling edge. But, you know, you got to favor Holly Holm in the striking. And Holly Holm is a savvy vet. But still, I think that if Harrison can get Holly Holm down, which I expect she will, then she's either going to grind her out to a decision or eventually probably submit her. Next fight, another good matchup. A lot of question marks in this one. We have Calvin Kattar taking on Aljamain Sterling. Aljo is jumping up from bantamweight to featherweight. And then we have on the Kattar side, he hasn't fought in I believe about a year and a half. He had his ACL reconstructed, which is a major surgery. And now he's coming back and at 36 years old and fighting again. It's basically who can implement their game plan here, because Kattar has excellent initial takedown defense. We haven't seen him off his back really at all in the UFC. He was on his back against Zabit for a short period, but he did a good job of defending takedowns against Zabit. But we don't really know how he's going to respond if Aljo can take him down. If Aljo can't take him down, then I think he's going to be in trouble. Kattar's the bigger guy. He's got like maybe 4 inches of height on him. And I personally think that it's a dog or pass situation, so I'm going to take Calvin Kattar in this one. Next fight, we have Alexander Rakic taking on Jiri Prochazka. Another one where we have an athlete coming back from an injury. I believe it's an ACL reconstruction again, and they had he had a similar layoff to Kattar, about a year and a half. I'm going to pick Rakic here. I'm expecting him to come back full force essentially, and he just has the better process to his game. He's more technical. He definitely, to me, has the wrestling and the grappling upside. He gets a lot of slack for being a little boring, where Jiri Prochazka is the opposite. Yuri's all over the place. He has power, he takes risks. But yeah, I just think that Rakic is durable. He's going to win minutes and maybe even win decision, or maybe catch Jiri with that head kick that he does. Next fight, we have Cody Brundage taking on Bo Nickel. I think Bo Nickel is the biggest favorite in UFC history. He's the UFC's baby right now, and they're setting him up for another very winnable matchup. Obviously, the betting line indicates that. Yeah, I mean, simply put, this is like a setup matchup. I think Bo is going to get Brundage down on the mat and submit him. Simple as that. I mean, these fights just keep on getting better and better. Next up, we have Charles Oliveira taking on Arman Tsarukyan. Charles do Bronx Oliveira, all-action fighter. Never have a boring Charles Oliveira fight. Really high finish rate, prolific finisher in the UFC. But he's taking on a young stud in Arman Tsarukyan, really good wrestler, well-rounded, durable. I'm going to pick Tsarukyan here, but with very low confidence. I think the betting line is definitely wide. I think that if this fight stays on the feet for extended periods, that Oliveira is very, very live to knock out Arman Tsarukyan. He has super technical striking, really, really good power. Actually, I remember Justin Gaethje in an interview said that he thinks that Oliveira hits the hardest. So the pick is Tsarukyan, but low confidence. Next, we have the BMF belt fight. Justin Gaethje taking on Max Blessed Holloway. I'm going to pick Gaethje for one reason, and that's the power difference. I mean, we saw the last time that Max went up to lightweight, he fought Poirier, and the difference maker was the power of Poirier. I think it's a similar circumstance here. Justin Gaethje has a lot of power. I'm not going to say he's going to knock out Max. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think he's going to land those more impactful strikes. It might get a little hairy late because I do think Max is the better cardio. He has a little more output late, but the pick is going to be Justin here. Title fight next, we have Weili Zhang taking on Yan Xiaonan, China versus China. Yeah, I just think that Zhang has Yan beat everywhere here pretty much. Outside, maybe if this fight takes place on the feet for the entire fight and Yan Xiaonan can just kind of skirt in the outside and work her strikes, I don't think it's going to happen. Weili Zhang has shown she's made improvements. Looks like she leveled up recently. And China has one champion, and I think it's Weili Zhang. Time for the main event. Alex Pereira taking on Jamal Hill. Yes, Pereira has more technical striking. He's been striking his entire life. Glory Kickbox champion, moved to the UFC and obviously did well with that. But Hill just has that dog in him, man. I just think that the athleticism, the youth, the aggressiveness of Hill, and Hill has no quit. I mean, the guy, when he had his arm snapped off from Paul Craig, he would continue fighting. If you saw the video where he tore his Achilles in a recreational basketball game, he got up, he wanted to walk around. Usually guys will stay down. So simply put, I just think that Hill has more of that dog in him. He eventually is going to knock out Alex Pereira and new. Thank you guys for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know down below what you guys think. You agree, disagree, whatever it is. Any questions, shoot me a DM.